We received an order today for a couple of felted soaps in our Etsy shop, and we figured we'd show you how to make them today. First, you want to heat up the water. It doesn't have to be super hot, just hot enough to get a good lather going on your soap. You could use a bowl, but we're going to go ahead and fill the sink up a little bit. You're going to need a bar of soap and some wool. We typically like to use 3 colors, and the color coordinates with the scent of the soap. We're doing a frosted cranberry soap for this one, so those colors coordinate well. And then the only other thing you're going to need is a piece of nylon stocking. You want to take each of your colors of wool and spread them out into kind of a thin sheet. And you crisscross them vertically and horizontally. Do that with all 3 colors. You can lay them out really any way you want to, as long as you kind of crisscross them. Then you're going to fold the soap inside, get the whole thing nice and wet. Get it to lay down as good as possible. You don't really want anything to be in a super big clump, or when you felt it, that clump will sort of remain there and be felted in place. Next, you're going to take your pantyhose, nylon stocking, and put it inside. Put the soap inside. Wet it really good again, and start rubbing. So what's happening is, as you are rubbing, you are felting the wool. It's pretty much knotting itself together and creating a cover that is kind of like a sock that goes around the soap. And so the more you rub, the more you're going to knit and entangle all those fibers together. You're going to work up a pretty decent lather. You just keep wetting it and rubbing it. Some of the advantages of felted wool soap is that it's naturally antibacterial, it's breathable and odor resistant. If you choose to use it in the shower, it acts as a natural exfoliating washcloth, so you don't need a washcloth. It's going to lather better. It's going to last longer, because you're only using a minimal amount each time. And you're able to use every little last bit of the soap. As you use the soap, that wool is going to felt more and more and become closer and closer knit. So you'll get to use every last little bit. It's not going to slip around in the bathtub or the shower or at the sink when you're washing your hands. And when it's sitting out on the counter, it's not going to leave that soapy, gooey slime that tends to happen. It's going to be easier to hold even for your little one's hands. And it just looks super pretty, super beautiful when it's sitting out in your bathroom. And you'll see once you take it out of the nylon stocking, all those single fibers have now knit together and created this covering. So at this point you want to squeeze out as much of the excess water as you can. And go ahead and let it sit up to dry out. Here's another soap. It's an oatmeal almond soap, and the three colors chosen are yellow, green, and cream color. So same thing, just going to take one of the colors and separate out those fibers so they're not in a big clump. And crisscross them. You can do them in any order that you prefer, and then just take it and wrap it all up like a little package. Get it really nice and wet. Make sure the fibers aren't all clumped together. Spread them out so that they can have a chance to intertwine as you're rubbing them. Put them into the stocking, wet it really well, and start scrubbing. So a good way to care for your soap is to use warm water when you're using the soap, and that will encourage it to felt more and shrink around your soap. After you've used it, you want to leave it out to dry each time. That will dry faster on like a soap dish or like a draining board. You don't want to let it just sit in some water in the sink or be pulled up in the water. So that one's going to sit out to dry as well. And his hands are super clean. Here I'm just making the labels now. It has all the ingredients that are in the soap. Right now we're just using already made soap. We hope to eventually make our own soap and then felt it. So I'm going to make sure that it's going to print on both sides because I do have the advantages and how to care for the soap on the back side. Just use my handy dandy paper cutter to cut them down to size. Now I'm going to wrap them. I like to use just a small piece of tape to hold it in place. And then this twine that I found, it's really pretty. It's red and brown color. Just wrap it around one way a few times and the other way. And then tie it in the middle, and that's done and good to go. Do the other one, same way, paper around. These soaps, I believe, are going to Omaha, Nebraska. Little snip of twine, wrap it around. Let's get these soaps packaged up and off to the Cornhusker State.